Hello my friends, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be doing some work on Komorebi, the tiling window manager for Windows, written in the Rust programming language. Today, I'm turning my attention to something that I have wanted to do for quite a long time now. Something that is going to make dealing with edge cases much easier. So, if you have spent some time getting your komorebi.json config together, you've probably added a few float rules here and there. And when you add these float rules, you do it by adding one of these objects, right? So these objects are, let's call them matching objects. They define a window to match on so that you can apply a rule against that window. So we have float rules, we have manage rules, there are a whole bunch of others, right? Initial workspace rules, and they all follow the same basic pattern. You try to identify a window. You can use a window kind to say, okay, this rule is going to match on either the exe, the path, the class, or the title. And if you pick title, like I have here, for example, I'm saying that every window where the title equals, see here, equals media player, all those windows, we're going to float them, we're going to ignore them. And we have actually a number of matching strategies available to us. You can use a regex, you have the legacy matching strategy, which I don't recommend using. It's a mishmash of a couple of these. We have the direct equals, ends with, contains, and starts with. And this is all well and good, but there are some extreme edge cases, usually Qt applications. Qt is a GUI application framework. And when you have pop-ups in these applications, it's very hard to match on the title because the title will be the same as the main window. It's very hard to match on the class because the class will be the same as the main window. But you know, there might be like a prefix or a suffix that you can match on, but then there are other difficulties because you're like, okay, this is kind of broad. Maybe I don't want to have this title match across all applications. Maybe I only want this title match with an application that matches this executable. And so this is where the idea of composite matching rules comes in. So why don't we start from how I would like this to look in the configuration. So I'm just going to add a little bit of config here. And so let's say, okay, so let's say for every Firefox window where the title begins with, I don't know, Slack. Let's say you run Slack in your Firefox browser window instead of using the Electron app. And for some reason, you want every other Firefox window to be managed except the window that has the title Slack something. Right now, there's not a way to do that. But this is how I envision composite rules looking. They're going to go in the same array vector here as all of your other rules, but in this you'll be able to nest another array and give a list of these sub-rules where, in order for the rule to be applied, every single matching object here has to evaluate to true. Hopefully that makes sense. Just keep this in mind as we go along. So I'm gonna back out those changes. And yeah, I think we can get started on writing some code here. And so the main thing that I want to draw your attention to, actually, if I just come back here. So the main thing I want to draw your attention to about this design, if you go back to my video about how we introduced hex colors alongside RGB colors, it's very important that we do not break the configuration file for existing users that already have float rules and manage rules in this format. So in order to do this, we are going to make some very heavy use of algebraic data types in Rust. And that's a fancy way of saying we're going to use an enum. And there's a specific pattern that I like for this. So why don't we back out of this and get bacon on the go. So, well, actually, why don't we start from static config? So this is where the static config file is defined. And if we look at float rules is a vec, an optional vec of ID with identifier. That lives here. But what we want is for this to either be ID with identifier or vec of ID with identifier. So we'll do copy. Oh no, this one's gonna have to be clone. So we'll call this matching rule. And this is going to be an enum. And so you can have a simple matching rule, which is going to be ID with identifier. This is exactly the same as what we have now. It's just wrapped up as an enum variant. And then we're going to add our new one, composite, which is going to be a vec of ID with identifier. And there we go. This sets everything in motion. Everything starts from here. There is one thing though. If you want to follow this, there is one thing that you need to make sure to add, especially when you're dealing with serialized data serialized into JSON. And that is to add serd untagged. And with this, you're not going to have additional subkeys in your JSON that say simple or composite or matching rule. It's just going to be a straight pass through to this object that we looked at in the config file, or the vec, the array list that we added a little bit earlier. So, okay, we have a matching rule. Everything checks out for now. So why don't we go and break some stuff? So let's import our matching rule and get rid of our ID with identifier. So everywhere we have ID with identifier, we are going to replace that ID with identifier with matching rule. I think that did it. A little bit of vim foo. And that should give us way more than 17 errors. Let's see. How many errors are you going to give us? 58. I did too much. All right. So we got to back out some. Oh, no, it's not going to work. Okay, wait. Let's see if I can reformulate this. So I want everything in this block. I want to apply a substitution on ID with identifier with the curly braces and change that to matching rule with the curly braces. And then actually we do still need ID with identifier. That was a bit hasty in getting rid of it. because we're wrapping it, right? So of course we'll still need it. Okay, now let's see. 51 errors. Okay, that's a bit better. So first errors that we have here. Let's see. So we have an arc mutex, that's just for thread safety of vec of matching rule. Here you can see we're making a vec, but it's a vec of ID with identifier. So we're going to do matching rule simple, and we're just going to wrap that up. And this is going to be a little bit tedious. I'll try and make it go a little faster, but we have to do that pretty much everywhere here. And this is the first step. Oh my god, there's so many. I wish I could come up with a really cool macro to do this on the fly, but my Vim foo is not that good. And so when you do these sorts of refactors, right, where you want to maintain backwards compatibility, unfortunately it does have an upfront cost in this sort of tedium, especially if you have like I do, a bunch of stuff statically declared. Okay, we have 2 more big chunks of red. Matching rule simple. Matching rule simple. Got a couple more. Hopefully that is it for this file. Looks like it. These should update in a second. So I guess we can start from process command. Let's just go along and fix things. It's always good to fix things. No type ID in matching rule. Where is that? There it is. So this is now a vec of matching rule. So let's say if let matching rule simple m equals m. I think that should do the job for most of these. So we're just doing an extra step here to say loop through all of them, but only act on the simple matching rules. Because we haven't actually added any logic or anything in for composite matching rules yet. We're just making all the old stuff work. And here again, we are going to wrap this like so. Yep. Go on to 297. Same thing, if let matching rule simple f equals f. And then we will wrap this ID with identifier. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this while IntelliJ catches up. Otherwise, we will be here all day long. F flat matching rule simple. Matching rule simple. I wonder if I can use a little bit of copy pasta here as well. You know, I often wonder how it must be to. I don't often watch these videos back, but obviously when I'm making these videos, I don't have that nice, relaxing music in the background. So often I think like, I wonder what it's like for people who are just watching along with these videos in these long pauses. Well, they're not pauses, but pauses in speech where I'm not saying anything, but I'm typing away. I wonder what that vibe is like. Quite a lot of people have commented saying it's a very chill vibe, a very relaxing vibe. Very kind of them. Very kind of you, rather, since you are the ones watching. Oh. What happened there? Is that just IntelliJ being slow? Yes, it is. Alright, and then we've got some stuff in process event. Alright, so I think now we are at the point where we gotta make some changes here, because when we figure out when we should act and when we should apply a rule, we pass a bunch of ID with identifiers, but now we need to pass on some matching rules. So for identifier and identifiers, we're gonna have another match here, match identifier, and then we'll have either matching rule simple, which is where we can just shift all of this up, and we're gonna have a second one here, which is actually when I move that to the top, matching rule composite, and this one I'm gonna rename that to simple. Okay. We are slowly getting there. 30 errors. And now I think we will start moving on to static config. These are okay, they're not actually errors. Alright, static config file, here we come. So we're gonna do a similar replacement here. So everything in static config should now be matching rule instead of ID with identifier. I was gonna say I'm not sure if that's gonna increase the number of errors or reduce them, but yeah, it has indeed increased them. 458. So here is the first part where we need to really implement a match. Okay, so match identifier. And this is actually a rule. So if we have a simple rule, then we're just doing all of this. Yeah, something like this. I think that makes sense. So I think for this, for composite, we're actually doing the same thing, but we're looping through one time. Right? So we'll do for rule in composite. Oh, let's do for simple in composite, just to make it easier. Because a composite rule is composed of simple rules. So I think that's what this looks like now. But I don't want to do this like a million times, so this seems like a good time to pull out a function. Yeah. Yeah, we want pretty much all of that in a function. So let's come up here, fun, populate rules. I think that is going to return a result, empty result. Yeah, because the regex. So we'll have let's have the rules. And that's going to be a mutable ref to a backup matching rule. We're going to have the identifiers, which is also a backup matching rule. And then we need the regex identifiers, which I believe is a hash map of string regex. I think. It's been a while. Yeah, that is a hash map of string regex. So we're going to say for rule in rules, then we're going to match on the rule. We're going to do identifiers. Then we have regex identifiers. And then I guess we need to finally return that result. Oh, that okay. Empty result, okay. So that's how we can populate our rules without copy pasting this and changing things a million times. Float rules, regex identifiers. Oh wait, no, that's float identifiers. We probably need to take mutable references here. Yeah. There we go. So then I guess we do the same with manage identifiers. We can just get rid of all that. I don't know why this one's called identifiers. I guess for some of them, they're not really rules, you're identifying applications, but that's fine. This one needs layered identifiers. And this one needs object name change identifiers. Cool. This one needs order overflow identifiers. And this one needs tray and multi-window. Huh, wait, no. Tray and multi-window identifiers. Alright, that's looking better. That is looking much better. Then these come from the application specific config. And these, I guess we gotta change these as well. Identifier loader. So we mainly need this for ID with identifier and comment. This isn't one of the variants. You know what, I don't think we need the comment anymore. Let's just add a matching rule here. Yeah, let's do that. And oh, that's annoying. Alright, so we're not backporting composite rules to the float rule command, so we can do if let Matching rule simple float equals float. And then, because we don't have the comment on that anymore, we'll just ditch the comment. And the same thing here, if let matching rule simple float. And then we ditch the comment again. Alright, we're getting there. 19 errors. 19 errors. Not bad. So now we don't need to do this without comment thing anymore, because these float identifiers are now a vec of matching rule, even though IntelliJ is only just catching up. So for this one, then I think we can also use our populate rules function, because it's working in like more or less the same way. Is that not okay? Make float mutable. Okay, that works. Ref mute, maybe? There we go. That's a bit nicer. So now we have to do something for the options. And actually all of the options are pretty similar. Maybe it's time to pull out a populate option. Yeah. I think it's going to be this. And if we go to populate rules, underneath here we can have populate option. So what do we need here? We need a mutable entry. I think that's application options. We need identifiers, which is a mutable vec of matching rule. And then we need the regex identifiers, which is a mutable hash map of string and regex. Then this is going to be identifiers. Entry doesn't make sense here, unfortunately. Or maybe it does. Maybe it's just playing catch up. Yeah. Sometimes the border does this and it dies. And then I gotta RBC start again. Okay. So entry doesn't have identifier. So what is entry? Entry is application configuration. Okay. Entry is application configuration. Expected matching rule but found ID with identifier. Maybe we need to go up even further. Oh, I guess we gotta wrap that now in a matching rule. So let rule equals matching rule. Simple. Entry.identifier. Or is it just entry? ID with identifier, okay. So we clone that. If identifiers does not contain the rule, then we just push the rule. Oh, doesn't like that. Does not like that. Oh, that's because we still need to return. Okay, that looks right. More or less. So here we're gonna do populate option. We're gonna take moot entry, moot object, name change identifiers, and moot regex identifiers. There we go. And then we're going to do the same thing for layered identifiers. And for border overflow identifiers. And for tray and multi-window identifiers. For manage rules, manage identifiers. And that's the last one. Oof, okay, let's see. How are we doing? Oh, there we go. That's where we're supposed to be. Alright, that's looking pretty clean. I like that. Next we go to Window Manager. 129. So we need to change these types as well. Probably need an import for this. Let's see, will we get more errors or less errors? I'm gonna say more. Slightly less, slightly less. So it looks like we need to go back to static config 305. Cannot borrow rule as immutable because it's also borrowed as mutable. 3, 1, 1. Immutable. Mutable is later used here. So 3, 10. So if we already have the rule at this point, why don't we just push that all the way up? And then we're not doing anything unless we have the rule. That doesn't seem right. I think here maybe we just change the ordering. No. Also no. Huh. Let's revert some of those. I'm a little bit stumped. Alright, so if we bring this out, maybe we can push here. Like this. Right? Because we don't need to, we're not pushing ID with identifier anymore, we're pushing matching rule. And we can just push that from, oh, I mean, it looks like it worked. But we have another one. 580. What's it saying? Take a ref to options. Okay. Cannot borrow entry. Can that be ref moot? Nope. Well, the other one was ref moot. Okay, so this one needs to be mutable. That works for float, but it doesn't work here. What if I do this? So entry is the issue, right? entry dot options. So the issue is on options. Option back of application. Option. This is an enum. It's just a plain enum. I wonder if we can derive copy on that. Then it'll be happy. Hopefully. So can we just do this? Damn it, I'm confused. So vec does not implement the copy trait. Alright, okay, that makes sense. So for O in options, can we do let O equals O? And get a copy of that? Does that make any difference? Nope. Ah. I'm very confused. Like, are you sure? Like, let options equals clone. Will this not work? I could have sworn I just did that. Or is it because I didn't have the ref moot? Ref? Okay. I don't know. This is a little sus. But you know what? If it works, it works. I'm happy. So we have some cleanup to do. 912. Line 24. And now we actually get to the implementation. Like, what are we gonna do with this new stuff? So we know how to handle ID with identifier. We're gonna have to loop. And damn it, that's a lot to loop. Okay, let's split that out. So this is actually gonna take a single ID with identifier. So this is gonna be should act individual. And instead of identifiers, we're gonna have identifier. And the identifier is always going to be simple. So I want all of this. I don't want any of this. And I want this, but not this. Matching. Is that right? Is that close enough to right? Yes, it is. So Let's rename this to identifier. And that's all of like the meat of our logic, which means now for identifier in identifier, if should act individual, should act is going to be true. And here we need to pass title, exe name, class, path, simple, and regex identifiers. Sweet, that works. So now for simple in composite, we need to track the state here. So let moot should act composite equals false. Actually, no. So this is actually, we're gonna keep a vec of the results, and we're gonna call this, and we're gonna do composite results push. Yeah. That's it. So composite results push. And then we should have at this point a vec of like true, false, true, true. Like depending on how long that list is of the composite matching rules. So then we're gonna do something like iter I know there's a method something like iter all. Rust back iter all. This one. Test if every element of the iterator matches a predicate. That's strange. Why can I not get the auto-completion for that? Oh, well, it's there. I think that should do the trick. So this returns a bool out of all of that. So for each one, we take a reference for that Boolean result. Boolean result. And then if that one is true, then we set should act to true. Ooh, think we're done. Near enough. Think that we are near enough done, my friends. So we're gonna make ourselves a little rule. Let's just run Clippy real quick. Alright, Clippy is happy as well. For this one, we can actually remove that now, because all of that complexity is down here. Actually, I wonder, can we ditch this too? Yeah, we can. We reduce the cognitive complexity and the too many lines. Very nice. Very nice indeed. So, I wanted to change my config. So I'm going to do rebc stop. And we are going to add a float rule, a composite float rule. And so let's match on firefox.exe and on title begins with iterator in. And yeah, let's run that. I think we have cargo run. Yep. Fingers crossed. The tension is killing me. Will it work? Will it not work? It should work. God damn it. Data did not match any variant. Oh, right, because they had a trailing. Wait, it still didn't match? Data did not match any variant of untagged enum matching rule. Which line is that in? 630? Well, that's very sad. Let's just see if everything else worked. Alright. And if I type that to FX, damn it, that does not look good. Alright, something went wrong, evidently. I'm sure it's something really, really simple. So you have the matching rule with ID with identifier. Populate option. Because this should be picking up all of that. Did I format it wrong? I'm pretty sure I didn't format it wrong. Data did not match any variant. Same thing again. That should work. Oh my god, why don't you work? What happens if I ditch that? Data did not match any variant. Something is off. Something is very, very off. Likely it's something that I did. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so I have this here. Matching rule is an enum, either simple or composite. Then, so the thing is, right? Where is the bit where it's not working? At line 54. Yeah. So that's that line. $630 preload. And that's on this static config. Which is supposed to be an option of back matching rule. It's ID with identifier or a back of ID with identifier. Does it work like this? Okay, it does. Oh my god, is it because I'm such a dummy? I'm such a freaking dummy. I think I know exactly. It starts with, isn't it? Oh my god. What is wrong with me? Alright. So title starts with iterator in. And now this is floating, which is kind of what we want. Still feels like something is a little bit off, but okay, why don't we move tab to new window. So okay, there we go. that is the desired behavior. Where did you go? Where did you go? Here you are. Okay, see if I can explain this. So what happened was, I didn't have the autocomplete on for the matching strategy, and I kept typing begins with, and that can't deserialize to an actual matching strategy because it starts with, oh my god, this is so dumb. Oh, that's so dumb. Okay, so that's why that wasn't working. My changes were fine. And yeah, so we have this now. And it works. So we have this composite matching rule where if the executable is Firefox and the title starts with iterator in, that will be floated, but the other Firefox windows will be managed normally. I've been at this for an hour. Oh my. That's probably why my mind is a little bit slow right now. There's one more thing that I do want to check. I just want to make sure everything is getting into the state. So we have some float identifiers there. We have some managed identifiers. Yeah, okay, I think we've got everything. This is all the stuff that is coming from... Yeah, this is all the stuff coming from the applications.yaml file. Oh my goodness. Alright, I'm gonna finish this up with the commit message and everything offline. I'm starting to get a headache. This was very confusing towards the end, but it looks like everything worked, and I'm very happy that everything worked. And you should all be very excited. We are going to have composite matching rules, which means that we can deal with a lot of those pesky edge case applications in a much more clean way going forward. So, why don't we... How do I get to the sponsors so I can say thank you to the sponsors? By the way, I also fixed that stupid Firefox bug. Let me see if I can quickly show that. So there's a race condition, add hack the new Firefox windows, and I got... So first I managed to fix it by adding a long debug here. And then Cornell at Mastodon.social said, hey, this is probably just, reproducible with a sleep, so you don't have to mess up the output of the application. So a sleep of 10 milliseconds when the executable name contains Firefox, it means that we can spawn these windows properly now, which is awesome. But for now, my friends, it is time to begin to say goodbye. So, as we do, I am going to say a huge thank you to all of the lovely sponsors of this project. Thank you to Azine, James, Pavel, EFL1P, private sponsor number 1, Maxwell, Hyro, DM1681, Red Lobster, Darian, Kwang, Surefire, Solomon, private sponsor number 2, Evan, Alex, Julian, and Hisayuki. My friends, thank you so much for all of your support. It means a great deal to me. If you too would like to become a sponsor of Komorebi, head on over to the sponsor page. You can become a one-time sponsor. You can become a monthly sponsor. And honestly, even if it's just $1 a month, it makes a very big difference to me. You could also be one of the 2 people that will take us towards the 20 monthly sponsors goal. If you are one of these 2 people, you will get a special video dedicated to you, to the 2 of you. So do consider becoming a sponsor. If, however, you are not in a position to become a sponsor, the very, very next best thing that you can do is make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel where I know you are watching this video right now. If you made it this far, that is an achievement in and of itself. So if you made it this far, I mean, why aren't you already subscribed? That is the better question. We are now a fully monetized channel. I'm getting a bit silly. It's late. We just became a monetized channel a couple of months ago, which means that we get some ad revenue on the ads and the views. I'm not sure how it works, but we got a couple of cents a day. It's a great passive way to support this project without really having to do anything. Like if you're already watching the videos, keep watching them, hit subscribe, get that number up, all of that good stuff. Oh my god, I'm exhausted. Alright, my friends. I hope that whatever you all do today, you have a great day. Free Palestine, and I'll see you all back here next time.